In addition to herbalism and all things healing, I love talking about business. I'm always inspired by the ideas people bring to life, and I cheerlead hard for people to succeed. At the heart of that success, though, is marketing, an area many spiritual entrepreneurs struggle with because they don't know how, meaning they don't know the principles or the tactics, and therefore don't understand the importance of it. And they don't feel comfortable being in the spotlight or asking for the sale. All of this makes it incredibly difficult to share your necessary gifts with the world and for you to be financially sustained in doing so. So let's fix that. Marketing can be fun when it's reframed as your platform and your opportunity to share what you love and how it's changed your life for the better. So this month, I'm starting one-on-one marketing mentorship opportunities for spiritual entrepreneurs. I posted on social media the following question: can you tell me about your marketing challenges? Several questions came in. So in this video, in rapid fire fashion, I'm going to answer half of them, and then we'll do a part 2. And if you want 3 sessions of one-on-one marketing mentorship, send us an email. Let us discuss your needs, see how to best get the ball rolling on how you can grow your email list, your following, and your sales. No theory in this mentorship. It's only about taking the right actions. So now let's dive into these questions that were submitted. Embrace It Girl says, it's funny that you asked. Clears throat with a straight face. All of it, Ma, all of it. Okay, so that's huge. Marketing is a discipline, a field of study, just like every other study. So saying all of it is like saying, tell me everything you know about herbalism, go, or everything you know about cars. My first piece of advice would be to chunk it down and focus on one element. In this instance, it would be really helpful to know, where are you in your entrepreneurial journey? Because your next step is going to be determined by your today. For example, the next step of someone who has just developed their first product is different than the person who has a suite of products, many testimonials, an established and growing audience. So with that said, you could probably benefit from enrolling in an online course or going to a local small business association. Don't sleep on your local nonprofits. They are rich with free resources, and they can help keep you accountable. Get clear on one objective and learn how to do that. Growing your IG following is different from growing your email list, from learning ads or asking for the sale. We're Rooted in Love says, I have a hard time staying consistent with content. Okay, so all of our best advice on consistency is in this YouTube video, how to be consistent and accountable all the time. Watch this video for our 6 keys to consistency. Holistic 7HW says, messaging. 3 things to keep in mind about messaging are storytelling, knowing your audience, and knowing that you'll find your voice along the way. I just got another big lesson on messaging recently. So I have a good friend who's like a communications magician. I was so proud of a post I made on added sugar. I spent so much time reading the research, making the graphics, telling people how sugar easily adds up, why it's bad. It totally flopped. And when my friend looked at it, she immediately understood why and said, now, if you had told me that excess sugar is what's causing my wrinkles, you would have had me. So we spoke for an hour, and messaging boils down to this: tapping into emotions and telling people why they should care. In my sugar post, I gave facts and I gave the consequences, but it was way too general. Most people know that a lot of added sugar is bad for them, and we're conditioned to actually think that disease is normal. So it's really easy to tune out. But to use her example, if my audience was into anti-aging, well, then I should speak directly to them and explain how reducing your sugar keeps you looking young. So tell the story, know who you're talking to or who you want to talk to, and explain why they should pay attention. And thirdly, practice, practice, practice. Posts are going to flop. You will find your voice as you speak. Every post will not resonate, but keep showing up, and then you'll get those winners, and then you can study the formula of your winners. The Aisha Way asks about FDA labeling and standards. The legal limits of traditional medicine impacts what you can say and can't. You're right. One general rule of thumb is not to mention any diseases on your packaging, on your website. You can talk about the historical use, though, but steer clear of making disease claims. This means you have to say how it helps without saying how it helps, which requires an incredible amount of creativity. A few resources are Asa Wildstein's work. We'll link to his YouTube channel, and then research what bigger companies are saying and what they're doing. Not all of them are in compliance, so keep that in mind with how our system works. The larger the companies, the likelihood that they have lawyers. So there's that. But it's also still a really good exercise to just do the research to help you draft your own language. VII8 says, they have trauma around selling and asking for money from strangers and fear of lack of support. That's really great that you've identified your wounds. Ultimately, our triggers lead us toward our healing. So working on the trauma, healing your scarcity records, those are your first priorities. Our wounds and our scarcity mindset show up in every area of our lives and certainly get highlighted in entrepreneurship because your creativity, your story, they're in the spotlight. You're seen, and feeling supported is actually directly tied to your marketing. You're vulnerable and open to criticism, and you're always living on the edge of your comfort zone as an entrepreneur. The beautiful thing about entrepreneurship too, though, is that you are growing with your business. People often want to rush the process and be like an overnight success, but have no idea what they are asking for. Luckily, in most cases, that's not going to happen. You're not going to post once and then wake up the next day with 1 million followers and everyone rushing to buy your product. No, it's gradual. And the gift in that is that you get to practice being seen under a smaller spotlight and feeling safe being seen while your audience grows. One last piece of advice is that our process for healing these types of patterns and these mental and emotional wounds is the Calypso healing method. The links to a few videos that outline that process will be posted in the comments. But remember that we make progress in our healing when we show up. You can't think or theorize your way into healing. You have to make new, deliberate action. And the more you're consistent, the stronger you get. You witness your growth and change when you're in motion, not by perpetuating the same patterns and reactions that really only keep you feeling traumatized. Sanchelle Brown says, marketing on a grand scale. So this question initially tripped me up because grand has really different meanings for everyone. Are we talking about shooting commercials, taking out billboards, getting your face plastered on a city bus? I asked this person for clarification, and they said they do a great job building community one-on-one, like through posting and initiating conversations with folks in the DMs. So they want to know how to cast a wider net for their events and their offerings. This is great because this person is thinking about their next level and how to reach more people. And as a business owner, how to reach more people is something you're always thinking about. And we have to keep in mind that we will need to modify or pivot into a new marketing strategy when we've exhausted the current one. Whatever your current marketing strategy is, it will work for a while and then it'll have diminishing returns. So let's use what huge companies can do, right? TV commercials. Imagine if Dove ran the same commercial year after year after year. Now, as a consumer, maybe it grabs your attention the first few times, you actually buy their soap. Eventually, though, you would start to tune that ad out and get sick of it. You're not buying anymore. That's what I mean by diminishing returns. The same happens when we've reached our capacity with our marketing strategy, which is what this person is experiencing. At some point, likely due to time, it becomes unsustainable to DM people. That's a very manual process. So the less time you can devote to it, the less return. So their question comes at the right time. What's next? To reach new people means you have to be on new platforms, but think about platform in a broader sense. Yes, it means social media platforms. It's how we're used to talking about it today, but it also means partnerships because the audiences that other people have built are platforms too. So you can partner with other people to get in front of their audiences. This can look like joining Facebook groups or doing collaborations with other people who are in an aligned industry. And if you're only on IG, Facebook, TikTok, then consider starting a YouTube channel or a podcast, depending on what you do. The reason is because the content on other platforms has a very short lifespan. Depending on the engagement, it gets a couple of days of love from the algorithms, then it flattens. And most people, they'll scroll a little bit on your profile, but think about videos you put up a year ago. They're not likely still working for you to capture new people. YouTube, though, is a search engine. So you can create a video today that in 5 years will still bring new people into your orbit. Sanchelle is a choreographer, did a little digging, and a dance teacher. So I put their name in on YouTube, and the videos that they've done for other people's channels come up, but not their own channel. And people love dance tutorials. And you can get people on your email list from those videos so that they can be notified when you have events. So that's my key suggestion for you. And lastly, ANSC61 says, forming the post to be relevant, educational, and inviting. Asking for support like the follow, the share, the sale. This is the art of copywriting, which is a skill to learn. The fact that you know that your material needs those three elements, relevance, education, and be welcoming, means you're ahead of the game. The rest is practice. You find your voice using it. Two things I would consider are one, like finding a course or a book that's specific to copywriting. A book that's great for beginners is Shots Fired, How to Write Copy That Pierces Hearts and Opens Wallets by April Beverly. I'll link to that in the caption. And if you have more resources, Marie Forleo's Copy Cure course is good. You can also just go to the library, check out every book on copywriting and sales. I would also suggest looking at the IG accounts or the social media platforms that you like, looking at folks in your industry whom you admire, find some of their top performing posts, study them, reverse engineer to see what are the patterns that made them successful. Storytelling is an art. You'll get better with practice, and sales is a skill. It's okay to remind people to share and to follow and to tell them that you have a product, a service, or a solution that they can buy. If you don't put your products in front of people, how will they know you have them? All right, folks, that was part 1. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for part 2. Thanks for tuning in. Later.